Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Two Wheel Riders. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking MSF, do's and don'ts. I don't have an intro, so let's get into it. Just a quick disclaimer here, these are kind of geared towards Ohio. And that's because, one, that's where I live, and two, I've already taken my class here and I kind of know more about it here. I even have the Motorcycle Ohio Riding book, which I'd like to get into at some point. I don't think we're going to do that in this video. Today we're talking do's and don'ts, mental preparedness, physical preparedness, and scheduling. A little bit of background. Like I said, I just took my class. I took my class at Harley-Davidson Faro North dealership in Sunbury, Ohio. Great dealership. And that also leads us into a great transition to our first freebie, recommendation. It's not really a do or a don't. It's kind of an in-between advice piece, which is find somewhere close to you in case you want to ride. So a quick Google search of Harley-Davidson Faro would lead you to find there are two locations, a north location in Sunbury, Ohio, and an east location closer towards Columbus. For me, the Sunbury location was closer. And I did want to ride a couple of the days. It's a 4-day course here, and I really wanted to ride in a couple days. It was going to be nice a few days and not scorching heat. And so I really wanted the chance to ride that by myself. I recommend finding somewhere that is close enough to you that you're comfortable riding to in case you get the urge, but yet far enough away that the ride is still enjoyable. For me, that was about a 35-minute ride, then riding all day, and then a 35-minute ride back for 2 of the 4 days of the class. The next kind of freebie is choose a date with usually bearable weather. I didn't really get to pick my date. It was kind of as soon as possible, and that kind of led me, and it's stuck in like a little bit of a rut. It is June in Ohio, and that either means that it's freezing in the mornings and extremely hot in the afternoons and evenings, or it's extremely hot all the time. And I kind of got caught in that mix where the first 2 days of the class are in the classroom and the last 2 days are on the range actually riding the bikes. The first 2 days it was kind of chilly. And so I thought, okay, this is what the rest of the weekend's going to be like. I can ride. We're going to be set. And it's not at all what the case happened to be. It ended up being that the last 2 days were some of the hottest days of the year thus far. Saturday peaked at like 92, and then Sunday, the last day of the course, peaked at 87 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is hot when you're on black pavement, you're wearing black because you need long sleeves, and you're in a helmet, you're on a bike that's hot in between your legs for like 10 hours. It's not fun. So pick days that usually have pretty decent weather. You don't want a rainy day because they're still going to ride in the rain. At least they are up here. Rain, sleet, or shine, they ride 2 wheels on the pavement. And the other thing I've seen is that some classes allow you to use your own bike. Here's my recommendation after going through the course. My initial thought was, if I have the option, I would love to use my bike to get used to it, to learn this stuff on my bike. As I got out on the range, though, my opinion changed, because there are some things that I don't think I could have done on my bike. There are things that I just don't think I could have started doing on my bike. My bike is a 1200 Harley-Davidson Iron Sportster, and I do not think that that size, that length of a bike would have made some of the things that I had to do in the class easy. That is my personal opinion. Getting onto the actual do list of your MSF course or your more course, which is what I ended up taking, a big deal, and instructors sometimes will say this, ours did, thankfully, and sometimes they won't. The biggest thing for me was resting the day before you ride. The day before you ride, especially if you're a new rider and you've never ridden a bike before, riding a bike can be mentally and physically taxing and exhausting. There's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot that you're learning all at once. A lot is getting thrown at you, and that's the mental taxing part. The physical taxing part is you're kind of telling your body to do shit that regular driving tells you not to do. That breaking of a habit, some people will have a really hard time with that, and that can also be mentally taxing, but it's also very physically taxing to force your body to do something it's not naturally normally doing. So definitely get some rest, take a nice nap after your first day of coursing. You know, get energized, get ready, but don't just rely on caffeine, because if you pick summer, it's going to be too hot, and that's not going to work out in your favor too well. The next thing is to let the instructors know if you're having a hard time keeping up. Some of these exercises seem really simple, so they go through them pretty quick. And if you're falling behind, you need to say something so they can maybe work with you a little bit. They don't want you to fail. They want you to pass. They want you to succeed. And they've given you the tools to do so, but sometimes you just got to speak up a little bit and let them know, hey, I'm having a hard time here. We had a couple people in my class that needed extra help, and they got it, and they passed. It's never a bad idea to ask for help, especially when you're doing something brand new to you. But the biggest thing about the do list, and it seems trivial and it seems stupid, and I'm sure you've seen it on every list like this, is to have fun out there. Don't get so distracted by the fact that you're nervous and you're learning and you don't want to make a fool of yourself in front of other people and all that other crap. Disregard all that for a few moments at a time and remember that you're there and you're on a bike. You are riding. The minute you sit on that bike and it starts moving with your feet up off the ground, you have ridden a motorcycle. And congratulations, because that's big. That is awesome, right? The don'ts. The don't list. Nobody wants to know the don'ts, because it's not, don't forget to get a helmet. It's mental preparedness don'ts. Don't quit the class. Even if you fail, there's 2 reasons I'll give you why you shouldn't quit the class before the test. Number 1 is you already paid for the class. You've already given them your money. You're there. There isn't a refund in most cases. So why not just stick it out? Because you never know, you might pass. You might just be on that cusp where you're able to pass and practice on your own. If you quit before you finish the course, before you finish the exam at the end, you'll never know whether you were able to pass it in that moment of time or not. The test is a snapshot of your ability in a moment. You could take it and take it 2 hours later and get a completely different score without writing in between. It is a glimpse of your ability at a moment in time. Maybe your moment is going to be great, even though you do not feel like you're going to pass. You're already there. They're going to build on those skills as you go along. You might as well stick it out, because even if you don't pass, a lot of courses offer a discount to retake the course. And when you do retake the course, you're going to walk in there head high, ready to go, because you already know what's coming. You've already seen the whole course. The next part is to not take the test too seriously. It's a big deal. It tells you whether or not you're getting your license and an endorsement. But the test itself isn't hard by any means. And it's also not something to worry about. Even if you don't get your license, you can still ride the bike. You still have a permit. You can still get a bike. You can still go riding. Nothing's stopping you. The only difference is that you can't have a passenger. But if you're a new rider, you probably don't want a passenger anyway. So what's the big deal? Don't sweat the test. Think of it more like another exercise rather than a test. That's what helped me get through it. And I passed, and I'm waiting to go to the BMV so I can get my license updated and be a fully licensed rider. Don't sweat the test. I can't repeat it enough. Don't sweat the test. Don't sweat the test. Don't sweat the test. The last thing is another mental one. Don't be too hard on yourself. And this kind of harkens back to the don't quit the class. And don't sweat the test. Being too hard on yourself can make you do the wrong things. You can start to get agitated, causing you to be more reckless, causing you to do it correctly by any means, even if you don't end up doing it the right way. Being too hard on yourself causes a lot of problems. Let's go back down my entire list, including being too hard on yourself can make it so you are restless and you can't get good night's sleep the night before. Why did I take that turn too sharp? Why didn't I brake sooner? Why didn't I use the friction zone better? Why couldn't I lean the bike more? And you'll spend too much time thinking about all that stuff that you won't be able to get any rest to ride properly and better the next day. Let the instructors know if you're having a hard time keeping up. If you're being too hard on yourself, you're going to blame yourself, and you're not going to tell anyone that you need help. It's as simple as that. You're not going to have fun, obviously, because you're beating yourself up on the inside for failing at one thing that you're going to get to practice multiple times before the course is over. So why bother beating yourself up at all? Especially if you're a brand new rider. It doesn't happen overnight learning how to ride. Take it from me. I don't have the story time up yet, but there's a story coming out to video about the first time I ever hopped on my bike when I got it home. It was the first time I ever sat on something with two wheels and moved maybe an inch. And when you hear that story, when you hear my story of where I started to where I am now, maybe you will change your mind about beating yourself up, because it takes practice, it takes dedication, and it takes parking lot time. And I guess that would be my other due to end this video with a surprisingly happy note. Practice in a parking lot. Borrow somebody's bike. If you have a bike like a 400 or a 500cc, or even a 250 or a 300, go to a parking lot on your permit. I don't care if you have to haul it there, have somebody ride it for you. Go to a parking lot and practice just going, stopping, and turning. Those three skills of being able to move, stop, and turn will make the class feel like a cakewalk up until where you start doing tight maneuverability. And believe me, that skill of just being able to go, stop, and turn is immense. It doesn't mean you're ready to ride in traffic by any means, but it means that you're ready to ride on a parking lot with other riders who are going to learn just as much as you. And you'll have a good foundation to hop on any bike and move. Thank you guys for watching Two Wheels Down. Thank you guys for subscribing. Peace out, guys. Ride safe. Two Wheels Down.